Have you ever felt like you're busy but not productive? Or that year after year your goals remain out of reach? Well, 2025 doesn't have to be the same story. The secret lies in your habits, 6 habits to be exact. Habits that can transform your time, your energy, and your life. Hi everyone, my name is James.
And I'm Olivia.
Today we're sharing 6 powerful habits that successful people swear by. These aren't just theories. They're practical, actionable habits that will help you make 2025 your best year yet.
So whether you're struggling with time management, feeling overwhelmed, or just looking for a fresh start, you're in the right place.
Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear game plan to take charge of your goals and build habits that actually work.
Let's get started.
Hey everyone, ready to make 2025 your best year ever?
I think we all are.
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to be diving deep into 6 habits that can really transform your life. And I promise you, this isn't just your typical self-help fluff.
Yeah, we've got the research, real-life examples, the whole 9 yards.
Think of this deep dive as like a shortcut to crushing your goals this year and feeling incredible while you're doing it.
What's really interesting is that these habits, they all work together to create a system, a framework for success, not just a quick fix.
Yeah, totally. And to prove it, we're going to be unpacking the story of Sam. He's a software developer who used these habits to, well, not just boost his productivity, but also rediscover his passion for painting. I mean, he went from totally burned out to thriving.
Yeah, it's a great example of how even small shifts in your daily routines can really have a ripple effect across your whole life.
Okay, so let's jump into habit number 1, quarterly quests. Now, you've probably tried those big year-long resolutions, right?
Oh yeah, we all have.
How did that work out for you?
I think for most people, they're just way too overwhelming. And there's a reason for that. Our brains are wired to handle shorter-term goals much better.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's research from a psychology professor, Dr. Gail Matthews. She showed that people who break down their goals into smaller steps are actually way more likely to achieve them.
Makes sense. So instead of that giant, overwhelming goal for the whole year, we're talking about breaking the year into 4 90-day quests.
Exactly, yeah. Think of each quarter as like a mini adventure with 3 or 4 really specific goals that you want to conquer.
I love that. I like that a lot. So with that in mind, life happens. So this approach also kind of builds in some flexibility, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like if you totally crush those first quarter goals, you can adjust and aim even higher for the next quarter.
Right. Or, let's be honest, sometimes things happen, curveballs.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, so you can adapt and refocus without feeling like you've totally fallen off track.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not locked into this rigid plan.
Yeah.
So I bet this could work for different parts of your life too, right? Not just career stuff.
Absolutely. Maybe one quarter you dedicate to launching that side hustle you've been thinking about, and another one is all about getting in shape or spending more time with your family.
I like it. Okay, so we've got our big quests all planned out, but let's get real for a second. How do we actually handle those day-to-day tasks without drowning in a to-do list?
That's where habit number 2 comes in, the daily highlight. So instead of getting lost in that whirlwind of tasks, imagine you wake up and choose just one thing. That, if you complete it, would make your day a success.
Wait, just one thing?
Just one.
Really? That sounds almost too simple.
I know, right? But that's kind of the beauty of it. It's about really prioritizing and focusing your energy on what really matters.
So it's less about doing more and more about making sure that you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we do that? What would be your advice?
So before you even check your email or get lost in your to-do list, ask yourself, what's the one task that will make the biggest difference today?
It's like setting your intention for the day.
Yes.
All right, I can get behind that. Have you found that this works in your own life?
Oh, absolutely. There was a time when I was working on so many different projects, and I felt completely overwhelmed. And I started using this daily highlight method, and it was a total game changer. It helped me stay focused on those really important tasks and not get lost in the little stuff.
Okay, so we've got our quest for the year and our daily highlight, but let's be real. Life rarely goes according to plan.
Ever.
How do we create space for all this stuff and actually get things done with, distractions and everything?
Well, that's where the magic of time blocking comes in. Habit number 3. So imagine your day as a container, and you're literally placing blocks of time for different activities.
Like a visual roadmap for your day?
Exactly. And the trick is to be super intentional with those blocks. It's not just about scheduling meetings, it's about setting aside time for all the different types of work you do, personal stuff, and even breaks.
I'm guessing this ties back to that energy level thing we were talking about.
For sure. Research shows that if you can align your time blocks with your energy, you can get so much more done. And for a lot of people, that means tackling those harder tasks, like your daily highlight when you're most focused.
Which, for a lot of folks, would be in the morning.
Yeah, and then as your energy dips in the afternoon, you can switch to the easier stuff, like email, admin work, and then the evenings are for recharging.
It's all about working with your natural rhythm.
Exactly. And what's cool about time blocking is that it's super adaptable. You can adjust the length of your blocks, experiment with different scheduling approaches, and figure out what works best for you.
That customization, that's key. Because what works for one person might not work for someone else.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's time blocking.
And that actually leads us to our next habit: reflect and reset. Because even with the best plans, we all hit bumps in the road.
Yeah, I hear that. Sometimes I feel like things are going great, and then bam, something throws me off course.
Exactly. So that's why it's super important to build in reflection time. Like at the end of each day or even week, just take a few minutes and ask yourself, what went well, what didn't? What did I learn?
It's like a little debrief with yourself.
Yeah. And remember, it's not about being perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. It's about learning from them and growing.
Progress over perfection. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A simple journal can be a really helpful tool for this. Write down your thoughts, track patterns, and see what works for you.
Yeah, sometimes just writing things down, that helps so much.
Totally. And that brings us to a really important point. Productivity isn't just about managing your time. It's also about managing your energy. And that's habit number 5.
Right, because you can have all the time in the world. But if you're running on fumes, you're not going to get much done.
Exactly. So that's where things like sleep, exercise, and good food come in. It's about taking care of yourself.
It's so easy to push through when you're tired, thinking you need to power through to get more done.
I know, but research shows that taking breaks and prioritizing your well-being actually makes you more productive in the long run. Think of it like trying to run a marathon with no training. You're going to burn out.
Okay, that makes sense. So what are some things people can do to manage their energy?
Well, there are tons of strategies, but it depends on what works for you. Short walks, music, even just 5 minutes of deep breathing. It can all make a huge difference.
It's about finding those things that help you reset.
Exactly. And sometimes it's about knowing when to step away completely. Give yourself permission to take a break.
I like that. Okay, so speaking of disconnecting, are we ready for our final habit?
Let's do it.
The 2-minute rule. This one always gets me.
Ah, why is that?
Well, have you ever noticed how those little tiny tasks, like replying to a quick email or filing something, can just pile up and clutter your mind?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It's like they're always in the back of my mind.
I know, even if they only take a minute or two to do.
Exactly. So what's the solution?
The 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, just do it right then.
So don't even add it to the to-do list. Just knock it out.
Exactly. It's about preventing those little things from becoming big problems.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I bet it makes you feel good, too, like you're actually making progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great way to build momentum and stay focused.
So what are some of those tasks that people might be putting off?
Oh, there are so many. Answering a quick email, sending a thank you note, tidying up your desk, even washing a dish, they can really add up.
Totally. And I am so guilty of letting those pile up.
Uh-huh. We all are. But think about how much better you'll feel if you just do them right away.
Okay, so we've got quarterly quests, daily highlight, time blocking, reflection, energy management, and now the 2-minute rule. That's a lot to take in. I'm already feeling inspired for 2025. But before we move on, let's go back to Sam for a second. You mentioned earlier he was a software developer who went from burned out to thriving using some of these habits.
Yes.
So how did he turn things around?
Well, he started by focusing on 3 of the habits we've talked about: quarterly quests, time blocking, and the daily highlight. So first, he broke his year into those 90-day quests, and he picked 3 or 4 important goals for each quarter.
Okay.
Then he used time blocking to create a schedule that matched his energy levels, making sure he had time for both work and personal stuff.
He was really strategic with his time.
Yes, very much so. And choosing a daily highlight each morning meant he was always making progress towards those bigger goals.
So what kind of results did he see from all of this?
Within just a few months, he launched that side project he had been dreaming of, improved his work-life balance, and even started taking painting classes again.
Wow, that's really impressive. It's inspiring to see how these habits can really help people create a life they love.
That's what it's all about. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter.
That's so true. This has been incredible so far. I know our listeners are probably thinking about their own goals for 2025 now. I, for one, can't wait to hear more about how these habits work in different contexts.
Same here.
We'll be back soon to continue this conversation.
Looking forward to it. So we're diving back into those 6 habits for an amazing 2025.
Yeah, we've talked about quarterly quests, the daily highlight, time blocking, reflect and reset, and energy management.
And now we're circling back to the 2-minute rule, that last habit we mentioned.
Yeah.
And we're going to explore how this seemingly simple thing can really have a big impact.
You know, when we first talked about this, I was like, 2 minutes, how much can that really change? But the more I think about it, the more I realize those little tasks, they can take up so much mental space.
It's so true. We really underestimate how draining those little things can be. And the beauty of the 2-minute rule is it's so easy. Just take action on anything. That takes less than 2 minutes.
So instead of adding it to the to-do list, just get it done.
Exactly. It's like clearing those little mental hurdles right away so they don't become bigger problems later.
Yeah, stopping the snowball from turning into an avalanche.
Exactly. But I'm curious, what about when you're in the flow, working on something important, and a 2-minute task pops up?
That's a good question. I'm still trying to find the balance there. Sometimes I get pulled away, even when I know I shouldn't.
It's a learning curve. But we often overestimate how long those tasks will take. We think, oh, I'll do it later, but then it just sits there, distracting us.
So just rip off the Band-Aid and get it done.
A lot of times, yeah. Even if it takes a little longer than 2 minutes, taking action breaks that procrastination cycle.
And creates a sense of accomplishment.
Exactly.
So what are some 2-minute tasks that people might be putting off?
Oh, so many.
Yeah, for me, it's those little chores. Putting away dishes, wiping counters, sorting mail.
Those are great examples. Just think how much lighter you'll feel if you just do them right away.
It's like that feeling of walking into a clean, organized room.
Yes.
And those little wins, they add up.
They really do. The more you practice this, the more efficient and focused you become in everything you do.
It's like building a muscle.
Yeah, exactly. So as we wrap up these 6 habits, it's important to remember it's not about being perfect.
You've said that before, progress over perfection.
Exactly. These habits are tools for a better life. Pick what resonates with you and adapt them to your situation.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah, and remember, even small actions can lead to big results. You
Right.
don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one small step.
This has been so eye-opening. I'm feeling ready to put these habits into practice. But before we go to listener questions, any final words of wisdom?
Be patient with yourself. New habits take time. Don't get discouraged if you slip up. Just keep going.
That's so important. We're all human.
Exactly. Embrace the imperfections. Learn and celebrate your successes.
You have the power to make 2025 your best year yet.
It all starts with choosing to embrace these habits.
I love that. All right, are you ready for some listener questions?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's hear from our amazing listeners and see what questions they have about making 2025 awesome.
Yeah, I love hearing what people are thinking.
So first up, we have a question from Sarah. She says, I love those quarterly quests, but I'm having trouble picking the right goals. As so many things I want to do, how do I narrow it down?
It's a great question, Sarah. We all feel that pull to do everything. But remember, the power of those quests is in their focus. So start by brainstorming everything you want to achieve this year. Personal goals, professional goals, anything that gets you excited.
Like a giant brain dump of all your dreams.
Exactly. Get it all down, then take a step back and really look at it. Ask yourself, what are the 3 or 4 most important things for the next 90 days? What will have the biggest impact right now?
It's about aligning your goals with what matters most at this moment.
Yeah, and it might help to think about your big vision for the year and choose goals that get you closer to that.
Okay, that makes sense.
And don't be afraid to get specific. Instead of just saying, I want to be healthier, break it down, like work out 3 times a week or cook healthy meals 5 nights a week.
The more specific, the easier to track your progress.
Exactly. And Sarah, if you're still feeling overwhelmed, try using a decision-making matrix. It can help you prioritize based on things like impact and feasibility.
Oh, that's a good tip. I might have to try that one myself. Okay, next question's from Michael. He asks, what if I don't reach all my goals in a quarter? Does that mean I've failed?
Michael, that's a fear we all have, but remember, those quarterly quests are about flexibility and learning. Life happens, plans change. If you don't hit a goal, don't beat yourself up. Use it as a chance to reflect and learn.
So a chance to use that reflect and reset habit.
Exactly. Ask yourself why you didn't reach the goal. Was it too ambitious? Did your priorities change? Then use those insights for the next quarter.
It's all about growth, not perfection.
And remember to celebrate your wins too, no matter how small. It keeps you motivated.
Love that. All right, one last question from Jessica. How do I stay motivated all year long? I start strong but lose steam by summer.
The mid-year slump, it gets us all. That's one reason those quarterly quests are so helpful. They're like built-in refresh points.
Like hitting the reset button every 90 days.
Exactly, but it's also about staying connected to your WHY. Why did you set these goals in the first place? What's the big picture? Maybe create a vision board or find an accountability partner.
Support systems are so important.
They really are. And don't forget rewards. Celebrating your achievements helps reinforce those good habits.
Like a little treat for yourself.
Yeah, it's about appreciating your efforts.
This has been amazing. I feel like we've given everyone a toolkit for an incredible 2025.
I agree.
And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start with one habit, try it out, see how it works for you.
Small steps lead to big changes.
So true.
Yeah.
We're excited to see what you all accomplish in the coming year.
We're here to cheer you on.
Until next time, happy achieving, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content.